In this module, we'll tackle 3 questions. What is eIDAS? Who are the main trust service players? And why does it matter for your systems? By the end, you'll be able to map legal trust levels to concrete technical building blocks. eIDAS exists to help Europe build a true digital single market. Instead of every country inventing its own way to identify users and sign documents, eIDAS defines a common rulebook. Legally, it's EU Regulation 910/2014. Practically, it's a toolbox for trusted logins, signatures, seals, and timestamps that work across borders, so online transactions become both seamless and legally reliable. Electronic identification and trust services solve different complementary problems. Electronic identification answers, "Who are you?" It makes a person's civil identity usable online through schemes that governments operate or approve, with a focus on cross-border recognition. Trust services answer, "What can you prove?" They protect data, signatures, seals, and timestamps that show who approved what and when. These are typically run by commercial qualified trust service providers under regulation to give strong legal certainty. You can think of eIDAS signatures as a trust staircase. At the bottom, a basic electronic signature is just data that shows intent to sign, like typing your name. It's easy to create, but offers weak legal assurance. An advanced electronic signature adds strong identity binding and tamper detection. It must uniquely link the signature to the signer and to the signed data. At the top, a qualified electronic signature adds certified devices and certificates, giving it the same legal effect as a handwritten signature across the EU. Under eIDAS, the key distinction is who stands behind the cryptographic key. Electronic signatures always represent a natural person. They express personal intent. I, this specific individual, agree to this. That's why they're used for contracts, approvals, and legal commitments, and can reach the qualified level as QES. Electronic seals represent a legal person, such as a company or authority. They don't say Alice agrees, they say this document truly comes from Organization X and wasn't altered, often for automated invoices, reports, or statements. When we talk about digital trust, 2 big questions appear. When did this happen, and who really sent or hosted it? Timestamping answers the first question. A trusted service uses cryptography to lock your data to a precise moment, so anyone can later verify it hasn't changed. Qualified timestamps provide higher assurance and legal weight. Electronic registered delivery services address the second question by proving messages were sent and received, while website certificates bind a real organization to a domain, cutting through phishing attempts. You can view a trusted transaction as a chain of 4 guarantees. First, identity. An electronic seal ties the document to a specific legal entity, so we know who issued it. Second, intent. A qualified electronic signature shows which person approved it and that they meant to. Third, chronology. A qualified timestamp fixes exactly when that decision happened and in what order. Finally, transit. An electronic registered delivery service encrypts the package and proves it reached the recipient. In eIDAS, a qualified trust service provider is the hub of a small ecosystem. They operate the secure infrastructure, manage keys and HSMs, and issue certificates. The signer or subscriber is the person or organization whose identity is bound to those credentials. Relying parties are applications or users that check signatures or seals and decide whether to trust them. Supervisory bodies sit above this, enforcing eIDAS rules and auditing providers. And EU trusted lists publish which providers are officially recognized across member states. A qualified trust service provider is like a fortress built around its cryptographic root. At the center is the vault, HSMs and QSCDs generating and protecting signing keys so they never leave secure hardware. Around that, inner defenses govern how people and systems interact with those keys. Segregation of duties, strict access control, secure development, and continuity plans. On the outer perimeter is governance, audits, incident response, documented policies, and strong KYC and AML. eIDAS expects all 3 layers to work together, not just strong HSMs. Under eIDAS, becoming qualified is only the beginning. You have to stay qualified. First, an accredited body assesses your cryptographic and operational controls. If you pass, the National Supervisory Authority approves you and your services. Those services are then published on the EU Trusted List, which is what relying parties actually check. Once you're live, you operate under continuous monitoring and regular reassessments. Any significant change or failure in these areas can trigger reassessment, suspension, or removal from the list. eIDAS is powerful because it turns 27 separate national systems into one digital market for trust services. A qualified signature or seal made in any member state has the same legal effect as a handwritten signature everywhere else in the EU, removing the need for country-by-country agreements. Public authorities are not allowed to reject a signature just because it is electronic or comes from another member state. And shared technical standards plus EU trusted lists let software automatically validate these signatures across borders. Think of digital trust as a bridge where law meets hardware. At the top, eIDAS defines what legally valid means: assurance levels, liability, and recognition across borders. Those rules don't say how to wire a data center. They define the legal outcome we must achieve. In the middle, ETSI standards translate that legal intent into concrete policy for certificates and trust service operations. At the bottom, FIPS 140 and HSMs deliver the hard cryptographic reality that everything else depends on. Robust designs line up all three layers. Digital trust in Europe rests on three ideas working together. First, eIDAS separates who you are from the services that sign and timestamp your data. Second, qualified electronic signatures provide the highest legal assurance, equivalent to a wet signature. Third, QTSPs operating HSM-backed infrastructures enforce strict controls, so this trust holds up in audits and in court.